Amma and Quacy's marriage looked perfect from the outside. In Accra, people admired them everywhere they went. They took fancy vacations, wore expensive clothes, and lived in a beautiful house in East Legon. Quacy seemed like the kind of husband every woman dreamed of, kind, caring, and always by Amma's side. But deep down, Amma felt something was wrong. She couldn't explain it, but her gut kept telling her Quacy was hiding something. She tried to ignore the feeling at first, blaming stress or her imagination, but the doubt grew stronger every day. It was hard to trust the happy image everyone saw when she felt a quiet unease inside. No matter how much Quacy smiled or said sweet things, Amma's heart was restless. Something didn't add up, and she knew she had to find out the truth, no matter how painful it might be. One rainy night, Amma and Quacy were lying in bed, the sound of raindrops tapping softly against the window. Quacy was already fast asleep, his breathing steady and calm beside her. Amma was just about to close her eyes when suddenly, Quacy's phone lit up on the nightstand. The screen showed a message that made her freeze. It was a bank notification that read, 3,800 GHS sent to Ajoa, rent payment, love you. Amma's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst out of her chest. The words, love you, made everything worse. She felt a mix of shock, anger, and sadness all at once. She wanted to scream, to wake Quacy up and demand answers, but instead, she took a deep breath to calm herself down. She knew she had to stay quiet, at least for now. Carefully, she looked at the phone again, making sure she didn't miss any details. She memorized the amount, the name, Ajoa, and the message. Then, very quietly, she locked the phone and put it back where it had been, not making a sound. Her mind raced with questions. Who was Ajoa? Why was Quacy sending her money, and why did he write, love you? The night felt colder all of a sudden, even with the rain outside. Amma lay there pretending to be asleep, but inside, she was wide awake, already planning what to do next. She knew this was just the beginning of something much bigger. The morning after the rainy night when Amma saw the message on Quacy's phone, he woke up like nothing had happened. When she asked about the money sent to Ajoa, Quacy quickly made up a story. He said he had a business trip planned for the day and that the payment was just part of a business deal. Amma wanted to believe him. She wanted to trust that maybe there was a good explanation. But her gut told her otherwise. She decided she couldn't just sit and wait anymore. She had to know the truth for herself. So, she quietly got ready and waited until Quacy left the house. She called an Uber and told the driver to follow Quacy's car, but not too close, just enough to keep him in sight without being noticed. The city of Accra was already busy with people rushing to work, but Amma stayed focused on her mission. Quacy's car stopped in OSU, a lively neighborhood known for its shops and apartments. She watched as Quacy got out, holding a small bouquet of flowers. Her heart pounded harder. Why flowers? Who were they for? Quacy walked toward a tall apartment building. Amma followed in the Uber, careful not to draw attention. When Quacy entered the building, she waited near the glass lobby doors. Then she saw something that made her breath catch. A young woman suddenly appeared, running into Quacy's arms. They hugged like they had been apart for a long time, with smiles and laughter. Amma felt a sharp pain, but she didn't cry. Instead, something inside her shifted. She wasn't going to be the broken woman in this story. She was going to take control. As she watched them together, Amma began to think about her next steps. This wasn't just a mistake Quacy had made. This was a secret life he had been hiding from her. She realized she had to be smart, careful, and strong. Crying wouldn't fix anything. Planning would. From that moment, Amma stopped hoping Quacy would change. She decided to find out everything she could about this woman, Ajoa, and what Quacy was really doing. This was no longer just about a husband who lied. It was about protecting herself and her future. She knew the road ahead would be tough, but she was ready. Amma knew she couldn't handle this on her own. The more she thought about Quacy and Ajoa, the more questions filled her mind. Who was this woman really? How long had Quacy been hiding her? What kind of life was he giving her behind Amma's back? She needed answers, and she needed them fast. After some research and advice from a close friend, Amma decided to hire a private investigator. She wanted someone who could quietly find out everything without raising any alarms. The investigator was careful and professional. Within days, he came back with a report that shocked Amma more than she expected. Ajoa wasn't just some girl Quacy was helping out for a short time. She was a 24-year-old makeup artist, young and ambitious, but living a life far beyond what her job could pay for. She lived in a beautiful, luxury apartment right in the heart of OSU, the same place Amma had seen Quacy with the flowers. The landlord of that apartment was an elderly man who was desperate to sell the building quickly. Amma realized that this was the perfect chance for her to take control. But what surprised her the most was what the investigator told her next. Quacy had been paying Ajoa's rent for over a year. Not only that, he had even bought her a car. A nice car. It was clear Quacy was not just casually involved, he was supporting her financially in a big way. The payments Amma had seen on his phone were only a small part of what he had been giving Ajoa. This wasn't a one-time mistake or a brief moment of weakness. This was a secret life Quacy had built right under Amma's nose. The betrayal cut deep, but instead of breaking her, it made Amma more determined. She realized she had to be smarter and stronger than ever. This was no longer just about finding out the truth, it was about deciding how she would take back control of her life and her marriage. Every detail she learned from the investigator gave her power. She knew Quacy's secret was no longer safe. Amma began to plan quietly, thinking through every step she would take next. She wanted to hit Quacy where it hurt the most, but without making herself vulnerable. She thought about the apartment, the landlord who was eager to sell, and the car Quacy had bought for Ajoa. These were all pieces she could use in her plan. At the same time, Amma felt a strange mix of emotions. There was pain, yes, but also a sense of relief. Now she understood what had been going on. She wasn't imagining things or overthinking. The truth was there, clear and undeniable. The hardest part was keeping calm and not letting Quacy suspect anything while she got everything ready. She had to play her cards right. Amma knew this was going to be a battle of patience and strategy. She was ready for it. Amma felt the weight of the secret she now carried. Every day, she woke up with a burning question: what should she do next? She wanted to make sure Quacy would never be able to hide his lies again. That's when an idea started to form in her mind. If Quacy was paying rent for Ajoa's apartment, what if Amma could take control of that apartment herself? If she owned the building, then Quacy's secret would no longer be safe or comfortable. She would be the one holding the power, even if Quacy didn't realize it yet. Amma didn't waste any time. She reached out to her cousin in Kumasi, a trusted family member who had always been supportive. With her own savings and some help from her cousin, she started the process of buying the entire apartment building. The elderly landlord was eager to sell, so negotiations went smoothly and quickly. Amma made sure everything was done quietly and carefully, so Quacy would never hear about it. In less than a month, the papers were signed, and Amma officially became the owner of the building where Ajoa lived. While all this was happening, Amma acted like everything was normal. She smiled during dinners with Quacy, laughed at his jokes, and pretended to be the loving wife everyone thought she was. But inside, she was feeling a quiet victory. She now had control over the very place Quacy had been hiding his secret life. She held the power without Quacy even knowing it. It was a secret strength she carried with her every day. Amma imagined the moment when she would finally reveal what she had done. It would be the perfect checkmate in the game Quacy thought he was winning. For now, she stayed patient, keeping her plans safe and her emotions steady. Quacy continued to live his double life, unaware that the roof over Ajoa's head belonged to his wife. Amma had taken back control quietly, proving that sometimes the strongest moves are the ones made in silence. She kept reminding herself that this was about more than revenge. It was about respect and justice. Quacy had tried to betray their marriage, but Amma was making sure he would feel the consequences. Her silent purchase wasn't just a business decision, it was a powerful message. Amma was done being the woman who trusted blindly. She was the woman who took charge and protected herself, no matter what. As days passed, Amma's confidence grew. She no longer felt like a victim. She was a woman who had found her strength in the face of betrayal. And soon, the world would see just how powerful she truly was. When the next rent day came, everything Amma had planned began to unfold perfectly. Ajoa, who had been living comfortably, expecting Quacy to cover her rent like always, instead received a letter. The letter was clear and simple: all tenancy matters must now be addressed to your new landlord, Amma Quacy Mensa. It was official. Amma was now in charge. The news spread quickly, but Quacy didn't learn about it from anyone else. He found out the moment Amma was ready to confront him. That same day, Quacy stormed into their home, furious and confused. His anger was obvious as he demanded to know what Amma had done. He couldn't believe his wife had taken control of the building without telling him. He shouted, questioned, and tried to intimidate her, but Amma stayed calm and steady. She didn't let his anger shake her. Instead, she reached into her bag and pulled out the deed to the apartment building, the legal document that proved she owned it all. She slid it across the table, right in front of him, with a quiet but powerful smile. "You wanted to take care of her," she said, looking him in the eye. "Now you'll be paying me to do it." Those words hit Quacy harder than anything else. Amma had turned his secret spending against him in the most unexpected way. He was forced to realize that his betrayal had consequences he hadn't imagined. Every month, the money he had been giving to Ajoa would now go straight to Amma, the wife he had been cheating on and lying to. It was the perfect checkmate, a move so clever and strong, Quacy couldn't fight back. Amma didn't just win that day. She sent a clear message to Quacy and to everyone watching: she was not someone to be fooled or taken for granted. She had the power, the respect, and the control. Quacy's secret was out, and the consequences were real. It was a moment of justice and strength, one that Amma would never forget. And just like that, the game was over. The night Amma decided to share her story was unlike any other. It was at a charity gala in Accra, a place packed with Ghana's richest and most powerful people. The room sparkled with lights and laughter, but Amma felt calm and ready. She had kept her pain and her secret hidden for too long. Now, standing among the city's elite, she knew it was time to speak out. When she began to tell the story, every detail, every name, people leaned in closer. Phones were pulled out, quietly recording her words. The whispers started almost immediately, turning into conversations that spread faster than anyone expected. By the time the night ended, everyone at the gala knew what had happened between Amma and Quacy. The story didn't stop there. Within hours, it was all over social media, shared by thousands and discussed across the city. What had started as a private betrayal became a public social earthquake. Quacy's reputation, once flawless, was shattered. The man people had admired was now the subject of gossip, judgment, and disappointment. But for Amma, this moment was more than just about exposing Quacy. It was about reclaiming her life. That night, she walked away from the marriage, not just free from lies and betrayal but stronger than ever. She was wealthier because of the smart decisions she had made, more respected because she stood up for herself, and feared because she had shown how powerful she could be. In Accra's business circles, Amma was no longer just Quacy's wife. She was a force to be reckoned with, a woman who had turned pain into power and broken free on her own terms.